Hey guys, Augiesaint here and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I want to share with you guys my Thundercage build. A lot of people keep asking me on stream for my build, so I want to make the video so I can have it up there and then have it as a command in my stream so everyone can see the Thundercage build as well. With season 1 coming up now, there is going to be the solo infiltrations, so I think everyone needs to have themselves a really good Thundercage going into this, because if you're not playing Bunny, then you need yourself a good ad clearing, mob clearing weapon, and the Thundercage is by far one of, if not the best mob clearing weapon in the game. And also the fact that everybody gets given 2 of these for free just makes it even easier to farm out and then max out to increase the explosion radius of it. So it's just a really good weapon. You get it very early, you get it for free, and if you don't delete it like some smart people, totally not me on my 20-hour stream on the first day of launch, then you should have at least 2 copies of it really early on. So without further ado, let's just hop straight into the build video. Have a quick look at the Thundercage. You guys all know the infamous Thundercage is a SMG. It has 666 fire rate because yes, Diablo. It has a decent base stat crit of 20% and also 2x multi on the crit damage. And it also has a pretty solid 1.2x weak point damage. So it actually has better base stats on the weak point than what the Enduring Legacy does. So it's a really good weapon overall. The only problem is the drop off is really nearby. It's 23 meters, obviously, because it is a SMG, so just make sure you are standing pretty close. But it's a very solid weapon overall. It's mainly used for mobbing. You can use it for early bossing, although I wouldn't suggest using it as your main bossing weapon. And then let's have a look at the unique ability. When defeating an enemy, the defeated enemy has a chance to discharge electric shockwave, which deals additional damage to nearby enemies. We all know this. It's kind of like Firefly if you ever played Destiny, where when you kill enemies they have a chance to explode, and then they do like an AoE explosion. The trigger rate, I think it's 50% when you don't have it leveled up, but if you play through the story you should have at least 1 base copy, and you should have another one, so you can at least level this up 1 time. I deleted mine because I am, streamed for 20 hours on launch and was really sleepy and deleted. Don't do that. Make sure you favorite your unique and ultimate weapons, boys and girls. Do not forget to favorite them. Don't delete them on accident. So with that out the way, you want to go ahead and farm this up. It's really easy to get it, and where you can actually farm the duplicates for the Thundercage, very easy to look. Just come into your access info, Thundercage, and you can see all the pieces over here are farmed straight from a normal mode mission. We have Sterile Lands, normal external reactor, and then on the next one we have Sterile Lands, normal Kuiper mine, and next one Sterile Lands again, a high power jammer. And for the blueprint we go to Sterile Lands, normal logistics facility. But you can access this all just coming into your, bringing up your journal, social, map, wherever this menu is. Come over to access info, go over to your weapon, Thundercage, and there you have, just scroll over it and acquisition info, and you'll find all the missions exactly. If you click on them, take you right to it. These have a 20% chance to drop, so they're not too bad to get, and I definitely recommend farming these out early and then maxing it out, as it's just free extra AoE clear with the increased radius as well as the increased chance. It'll be a 100% chance to proc it on enemies, so it's going to be a lot of AoE damage you'll be missing out on if you don't max it out. Now let's go have a look at the mod setup. First and foremost, we pretty much take these on every single build. Action and reaction, and then rifle reinforcements, as just the massive amount of firearm attack that we get with really no negative. That 20% recoil doesn't really do much. This is pretty much mandatory on every single weapon build out there, maybe in like a few niche cases, but this, you're just going to always want these on. And then since it is a high base crit weapon, we're going for better insight and better concentration to just get more out of those crits for increased rate and damage. And then we have expand weapon charge, just giving you increased magazine size. This takes it from 26 rounds in the mag up to 38, so that's not a massive thing. As you guys know from the past, I'm not really a massive fan about the magazine mods, but it does make it just a little bit more comfy overall, especially once you level this up with the unique effect with decreasing the reload time, so it reloads really fast. And then also if you go ahead and animation cancel or roll, animation cancel the reload, you can reload really, really fast, and you can just be shooting more often all the time. But I like to usually leave this socket open for a element if you want, so that's what you could do. You could make the socket blank, so not having any polarity, and you can just slot in whatever element you want depending on whatever boss or something you may be fighting. So that's up to you, although this is what I've been using recently and I don't really run an element on this, so we just stick with the increased magazine on that. Then we're going to move on over here. We have concentration priority, just for massive amount of credit damage with the reload time modifier. This gets nullified when you actually level up the unique effect, because it reduces your reload time, so that doesn't really do too much. And like I said again, if you are doing animation cancelling while reloading, then it's not going to affect you at all. Then we have Inside Focus Sphere, just for a little bit more crit hit rate and damage. Just good overall. There's nothing really better to put there. We do have the blue fire rate mod. Like I said, the purple fire rate mods, you lose 5% fire rate and you gain 1% attack damage, or you gain 1% crit chance or crit damage, or I think 2% weak. So it's really not that great for that whole 5% of fire rate you are missing out on, as I just feel like fire rate is too important. And this is the only source of extra fire rate we can get, since we can't really roll extra fire rate on the weapon. So that's why I always like to use the blue ones over the purple ones. I think we need some new fire rate mods in the future, so I hope you'll see maybe we get some new fire rate mods. And then lastly, we have our weak point damage, weak point sight, just for increased weak point damage, since there's nothing really better to put there. And free weak point damage, it's going to be aiming for the weak points anyway. And then lastly, we come over to our special mod. Now you can really put there whatever you want. There's so many different things you can play with, but I just like real life fighter overall. This is the strongest out of them all, if you can maintain it, but you're not going to be maintaining it 100% of the time. But when you are shooting, you know, like the bigger targets like elites and stuff like that, that's when you're going to need that increased damage, and that's when you're going to be more accurate as well. So when you're shooting little trash mobs and things like that, obviously this is not going to be up 100% of the time, so you're going to be losing out over there. But again, the only time you really need that extra, you know, oomph is to kill elites and bosses and stuff like that in like infiltrations or outposts or wherever it is you may be doing, even intercepts. So it will be much easier to maintain this. So that's why I just like to run this overall. I just set and forget. But if you want to really min-max this for like a mobbing weapon, you can switch it out for sweeping squad, as that's just going to be much easier for you to maintain. And I believe the explosion does actually count towards the stack, so it can help you stack this up really fast. But then again, this is only going to really be helpful on mobbing, which I really don't think the gun needs that much help for mobbing, as it just mows through mobs without problems. And that's why I just prefer to use real life fighters. The only time you need that extra power is versing the bigger elites and like the bosses at the end of the dungeons. But like I said, you can run whatever you want over there. I just prefer real life fighter. You can run sweeping squad. Firing fiesta is another good one as well. Sharp precision shot, I wouldn't really do it. You don't have like a very big mag, so you won't really get much out of this. Although you could empty your mag out really fast, so you could go ahead and use that. Mental focus, I wouldn't really use that on this because your magazine is just too small, so you'd only be getting that 38% increased firearm attack. Not worth it for me. That's why we stick to real life fighter for that massive amount of increased damage. And you stack it up really fast, and if you lose the stacks, you just build them up really fast because the gun shoots very fast with its fire rate. So that's mainly what I run on my Thundercage, and this just works really well. You can boss with this as well. It's not a bad bossing weapon, but there is much better options, so I wouldn't really focus on using it for bossing, and I wouldn't even change any mods. So this would be my mobbing / bossing setup. Only thing, like I said, maybe switch out sweeping squad if you don't want to use real life fighter. And then just a quick little tip for the Thundercage to make it easier with mobbing by using the unique effect. It does an explosion radius, so you want to make sure that you're hitting mobs like in between other mobs. So like for example over here, you don't want to go ahead and shoot the mobs on the side, because then only maybe kill these three over here instead of shooting the guy in the middle. You can actually kill those, and always, let's see if we can get the explosion pop. You see we got the pop there, and it killed all of those guys over there, instead of just trying to kill the one, and maybe it just, yeah, it pops in, didn't even kill the big guy. And I believe the explosion scales off of a hit, so if it is a weak point crit or something, it's going to do more damage on the explosion. So that's why you always want to try and aim for the head as much as you can, getting that weak point explosion. You see like that, it's got really good ad clear, so just use it like that. Always try and hit the smaller ads running around so you can kill them much easier, and then just proc the explosion on the bigger ads near them. And then lastly, let's have a look at the rolls. We have weak point damage, firearm attack, crit damage, and crit rate. Now these are all really good. If you wanted to, you could drop the firearm attack maybe for an element like electricity or fire. Those are like the best elements right now. Toxic and chill just aren't really great at the moment. And electric has like a built-in defense strip, and then fire just stacks a little bit better and does more damage than what toxin does. So those are the elements I could recommend if you want to run elements, or again, you could just run the element mod there by replacing the magazine mod. Totally up to you, or you could even replace insight focus if you really want to have yourself a element on the weapon. But that's going to be it for the Thundercage build. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, please drop a like and a sub on the channel. Helps me out so much, as well as join the streams over at twitch.tv/Augiesaint. We are streaming pretty much every single day except for Sundays. We have the season coming up on the 29th. I'm really excited for that, and we will be hopping into that as soon as the servers are live right in the morning. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video as well as the streams. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the